I'm going to show you how I create a wine pairing menu. Once I get the food from the chef, I'm going to show you how I choose the wine, what price, how I'm doing all the costings. And I think you're going to find this interesting. Even if you have wine qualifications, nobody teaches you this, just your experience. I've been doing this for 20 odd years. I hope you're going to find it useful. I basically receive a list from the chef with his menu. I give preference and priority to the chef. Let him work out whatever he wants to come up with. After all, the customers are coming because of his food. My wine pairing should just complement whatever he wants to achieve. So let's have a look. You can see this is actually very current. Next week is going to happen. 8 courses, small plates, £65 per person. Not very expensive. We are in the north of England, and they will pay £35 extra for the wines. 6 wines I'm going to choose. Let me show you how it works. What I do is I create my own spreadsheet, and I'm looking, I'll show you, at the meat, what's the main ingredient in the dish. Then I'm looking at the spices and the herbs, maybe the source of those products. Maybe it's crab from Spain or from south of England. It could be Atlantic cod, or it could be venison, and I'll choose ideally wine from the same area, region, climate, because there's some magic matching when you do that. I basically look at the main ingredient, Jerusalem artichokes consommé, so it's a cold little portion. Then it's ham hock terrine. Then it's crab, monkfish, venison. But Banoffee will not have any wine pairing, but we're gonna go for the dessert at the end, custard tart. So I'm highlighting first the main ingredient, and then all in my head, from experience, I really have already some ideas of the wine. So what I will be doing is I'll say there, definitely a white. Definitely a white. Goat cheese tells me a Sauvignon Blanc. Truffle will tell me Italy, Piedmont. So I'll have to be careful. I want to find something that is maybe as acidic and fresh, like a Sauvignon Blanc, but more like a Gavi. Gavi is the white wine, well, in Piedmont. And Roero Arneis is another gorgeous wine. So white, I'll say Sauvignon Blanc, because of the goat cheese, the secondary ingredient there, and maybe a Italian. Sauvignon Blanc from Italy is quite difficult, yeah? So I've got a few options there. Ham hock, well, pork tells me Riesling, white wine still, pineapple. Now, I'm trying to match a wine that has a little bit of pineapple hint. So it could be a New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc with some tropical fruit. It could be Viognier, or it could be Riesling for pork. So, and for the quail egg is delicate, but it's more flavor than chicken. So let's look at potentially Riesling. I want to say Gewürztraminer, but no, Riesling or Viognier or New Zealand Sauvignon. So obviously I will not choose 2 Sauvignon Blancs, yeah? Either or. Crab, a Chardonnay, an unoaked Chardonnay, or a bit of sweetness from the crab meat, if it's done right, lends itself for an oaked Chardonnay. That sweetness of the crab with the Chardonnay. Potentially Chardonnay. Where is it the richest? Could be potentially USA, Californian, Chardonnay. But you see, pea shoots, I'm thinking it's more of a green kind of flavor. So potentially, but going the other way, Albarino. With a nice story. Albarino is from the coast. Locals will have this wine because they have shellfish coming in, and that's daily diet. Albarino is their wine. I'll have a look. Monkfish, thyme, and sea herbs. Again, sea herbs makes me want to bring something from the coast. So turnip is a little bit spicy. I would like Gewürztraminer, a bit of the little spicy one for the turnip. Thyme is quite herbal. Maybe a Chenin Blanc. But you see, I have maybe now too many whites, because the next is venison, and I would like to introduce a rosé as well. There's whites and rosé are more popular than reds. There are hard fans of reds. I won't let them down with the venison, but on monkfish, I want to do a rosé. The trouble with this one is I have done many wine tastings for this venue, and I by now would have shown them, I don't know, 16 different rosés. So I want to make sure they have a different rosé to match. I'm thinking maybe a Spanish rosé. Okay. Venison, parsnips, wild mushroom, juniper. When I hear wild mushroom, when I eat venison, it's deep red, wonderful. Malbec depends, but it's not grilled. This one, it's not barbecued. Parsnip could be a bit spicy, so I'm thinking Spain. I'm thinking Italy. Then definitely I'm narrowing it down to Italy because of the wild mushrooms. Sangiovese, maybe a Chianti, maybe Barbera. We are on a budget with this place. We can't give them Barolo because Barolo is not going to work for the venue. They're gonna lose money on it. So potentially another Nebbiolo. Let's see if I can find a good. Definitely Italy. I'm going to give them Italy, and it's going to be Nebbiolo, Sangiovese. So you see, when I say Sangiovese, I don't say just necessarily Chianti. Okay, Banoffee, there's no wine pairing for that course. And then custard tart. Rhubarb. Rhubarb, it's a wonderful, is it a vegetable? Is it a herb? It's a plant, yeah. That is very typical in the north of England. This venue is in the rhubarb triangle. Wakefield, Barnsley, and it's in Pontefract, I think. Leeds, probably. And it's quite like licorice, but it's sweetened. Yeah, it's gonna be made into a dessert, really. Vanilla next, custard tart. So I'm not gonna give them a fortified wine. Maybe a liqueur will go nicely. Maybe a sherry, a sweet sherry will go nicely. Port will go nicely. But I'm definitely gonna go for a dessert. White, vanilla. I want some New World out. Maybe USA, Quady. I have in mind already somebody. USA or Australia. Yes, of course. Sauternes, the very best French dessert wine. Of course, Tokai, the royal, wonderful desserts of emperors and kings from Hungary. But we are on a budget here, okay? So I'll do a little bit of a search and I'll tell you how I work the next stage. At least I narrowed it down to some main styles. Okay, so I think I took 20 minutes. I have experience, but it still took me a while to understand what I want. So let me show you what I come up with. For Jerusalem artichokes consommé, it's a cold little cup. Goat cheese, quite fragrant, and truffle. I was saying I might go for white, definitely, but actually a Sauvignon Blanc would be nice. What else did I say? Or Italian, ideally, because of that truffle. So I found something that I really like. In fact, is Sauvignon Blanc with Ribolla Gialla. It's a Slovenian kind of wine, which is great. It's the Tuscany of Europe, another outside. It's also called the Tuscany outside Italy, which is great. It's got a link to Italian culture and Italian wines. It's something new and different for the guests, so it will really help me introduce wines that they will never normally choose, which is great. I have a bit of a description there, just for me, a quick reference, and when I explain to the staff, but I am doing most of the presentation of the wines when I do these events. Look at the price, $8.99. You don't have to be premium all the time or super premium or expensive. You're going for the discovery and the best flavor match, okay? We're on a tight budget because the guests spend £35 for the pairing. 75 ml per person. The bottle is 10 servings, and I give the code to the food and beverage manager to place the order with that code, and per person is 90p. Ideal, yeah? So ham hock, terrine, pineapple salsa, quail egg. I wanted to choose something, I wasn't sure yet, but could be Riesling, Viognier, New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc. So I came up with a toast and honey, hint for being oaked and rich, a Viognier from California, ripe peach and apricot, zesty lemon, honeysuckle, and a creamy vanilla finish. I'm going for that zesty lemon. I know the wine. The pineapple makes me want something to match, not too sharp, but give that pineapple room to open in your mouth. So I think I'm happy with that. Crab and pea shoots. I said maybe a Chardonnay, maybe Albarino, but you see, I had an American Viognier before, so I'm taking my guests around the world, so I'm giving them an Albarino. I know the maker of a good Albarino at £15 makes the same juice labeled under different labels, and they are a bit cheaper. So I found the same juice at $11.99, including that, crisp. And I understand that obviously I'm gonna make the link between seafood and the culture of people living by the coastline, and what better than an Albarino, which is great. Monkfish. I wanted the rosé. I need a rosé in my tasting. There are 6 wines, but I need to show rosé, red, and ideally a dessert. So I found my Rosado, a beautiful Spanish red, Rioja Rosado, and it's somewhere in texture and in flavor between Italian and French styles, which is gonna go down a treat. And I could tell people that yes, you can get Rioja deep red, but this is the rosé. How do you make rosé? And you really entertain and educate your guests if the time allows it, yeah? Venison, definitely a red. Parsnip, a bit spicy. Wild mushrooms, makes me think of Italy. Juniper. Well, juniper, I don't know, in wines, unless you make gin or something, but herbs. So I wanted an Italian wine, ideally a Nebbiolo, but not Barolo. Remember, we are on a budget, but maybe a Sangiovese. And I was really lucky to find a Chianti. Chianti Classico 2021. Beautiful, great age, 4 years old now. 100% Sangiovese, oak and tanks, so it's a bit earthy, a bit rounder, and all the flavors you expect from a good Chianti. Cherries, prunes, violets, silky tannins. I have tasted all these wines because I've tasted more than 10,000 wines since I do work with wine. And I'm glad it came at $13.99. I am more generous with the serving. Look, I give them 100 ml for that. They're going to take it steady, they're going to take it slow, and they're going to sip through the wine, eat through the venison. They're going to love it. 7.5 servings per person, per bottle, which is useful for the people that pay the bills to work out the economics of it all. And then my guest will have banoffee. Another dessert is somewhere in between. It's like a mousse bouche guests. Yeah. So they relax into the evening, looking forward for the dessert. If they have room for the dessert, they will have custard tart, rhubarb, vanilla. The flavors there are sweet, but then it's acidic and fresh, juicy. That rhubarb makes your mouth water. And I found the dessert wine, and I gave them a good value wine because I served a Viognier dry from California, and because they had the Sauvignon fresh and juicy from Slovenia. I'm going to demonstrate my guests how the same grapes could make an exciting, rich, smooth, intense, ripe wine, dessert wine in Chile. And all it takes, it says, even there, the grapes are picked later. So they picked raisins, hence the sweeter flavor. It's not added sugar. It's more sugar content in the grapes, less water in the small raisins. And this is how my guests are kept entertained and interested all of the time. It's a half a bottle, 375 ml. So I give them 50 ml anyway, 50 ml of it, because they don't need too much of that sweet stuff. Not everybody likes them. You know, I already know people, oh, I don't think I'm going to like it, but they will love it when they match it to dessert. Because I explained to them, when I pair a dessert with wine, I have to make the wine be a little bit sweeter than the dessert, ideally. Otherwise, dry wine with dessert will taste sour. 50 ml, 7.5 people using a bottle, and the costings are great. £7.49, they pay 35 quid. There's room for paying extra staff. It works. Have you found this interesting? I'm doing this all the time by myself. I'm trying to teach restaurant owners and managers to do this by themselves, and they don't have the time, they don't have the skills, and I decided to put it out there this time. What would you like me to help you with? Can I help you with a pairing for your own event? Can I give you some tips? Get in touch and comment, and I'll do my best. See you soon. Maybe it's worth following. Thank you. And this is it, my friends. This is what the range looks like. It's a wonderful combination of flavors going around the world, all wines having a story and making it interesting for the guests, as well as being a perfect match for the main ingredient in the food, but also looking at the secondary ingredients like herbs or sea herbs, sometimes thyme or truffle or wild mushrooms. I chose particular wines, and I hope this is helping you choose your own wine pairing and making the matches yourself.